G'day fellas, and welcome to a new video. This is well, for some of you guys in New Zealand and most parts of Australia, this is going to be a brand new New Year's video. So happy New Year's to everybody as you watch this video around the world. Happy New Year to you. Now, for anybody who has been updated with me, I guess I'll just give you a little bit of a background. You might hear a bit of a husk in my voice. I unfortunately was diagnosed with COVID-19. And that was back on, was it the 27th, the 28th of December? So at the moment, you know, it's the 31st of December right now. You can see down there, so 9:50 p.m. At night. So look, I'm still on the mend at the moment. It's going to take some time for me to, you know, get everything together. But look, we're working through it. So I thought, you know what? The Steel Series tournament has come to a close. We've experienced a whole bunch of 1v1s. So, you know what? Let's get into a tier list. Let's talk about what happened in Steel Series. Let's talk about these civilizations and where they currently sit. Because, in my opinion, there's definitely a defined position for each of these civilizations. And I think it's important that we talk about it. So, let's get into it. Number one on the list, of course, you guys are going to know exactly who it is. So we're not going to start there. We're going to start with the Abbasid Dynasty. I'm going to chuck them in the C tier. Now, you guys would have seen plenty of Abbasid games on the channel recently, and very, very rarely is this civilization actually winning. Now, they seem to be a bit of a pocket pick against the Russ civilization, but that really seems about it. I think that Abbasids, unfortunately, in the current meta and just the way that civilizations play, they're a little bit too slow. That is a big part of the reason why they're losing. They don't really have a viable build order for professional scouts as well, and that's part of the reason why it hurts them a lot. With the exception of, say, hybrid maps where they can be good, like there's a few of them, such as Ancient Spires, but that is pretty much about it, and it's not a competitive map, so unfortunately they sit quite low on the tier list just because they've got a lot of bugs as well. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that really brings them down. What do they need to be better? I really don't know. That is a good question. Maybe reduce the time that it takes for them to age up. So at the moment, it takes 2 minutes to age up. Who knows? Maybe bring that down from 2 minutes down to 150, 140, something like that. But we'll look to see what the balance team does, because at the moment, they definitely do seem to be the lowest civilization that there is, and that's exactly where they're going to be. So civilization in the next tier that we're going to be putting down is the Holy Roman Empire, actually in the B tier. So this civilization is looking stronger than it has been recently. So typically this civilization has been down at the bottom, you know, towards, you know, the dregs, all that sort of stuff. But more recently, it's becoming better. It's becoming stronger. People are learning to refine their build orders a bit more. Fast Imperial in particular is very strong on both water maps, hybrid maps, and land maps as well. So it is one of those strategies you really got to watch out for, especially with China at the moment being so dominant in the meta. It really makes sense to go the Holy Roman Empire because, in my opinion, they are the perfect counter civilization to China. And this is something that we talked about at the very beginning of the meta and the way that Age of Empires 4 played. French were considered the best civilization. So I remember talking to the Mister in DMs, and he was like, actually, I think Abbasid's going to be the next S tier civ, because you think about it, what's the dominant unit at the moment? It's the knight, it's the horseman. And so the Abbasid have got a counter to that in camels. So he theorized that it would be the Abbasid that would eventually rise up and overtake the French. And we did see that for a little bit. They were used as a counter civ, but obviously they did fall off. So the Holy Roman Empire, a great civilization for, I would say, for more defensive maps is where you want to be taking them primarily. Next civilization, Delhi. Now, I know a lot of people would be like, well, look, okay, you know what? I'm going to be like that. Okay. On hybrid maps, Delhi is S tier. Okay. On solid land maps, it is D tier. But there are a lot. No, you know what? Even on solid land maps, they're not D tier. On solid land maps, they're probably even C, maybe even pushing B tier. But overall, I would say that Delhi are probably higher towards the B tier. They are a very solid civilization, very strong, versatile civilization. The Sanctity nerf didn't hit them that bad. They have found other ways to play. We've seen players like Salami actually reach the top 10 by playing only the Delhi. Kind of crazy. And there's still a lot of things that are undiscovered with the Delhi, like especially Compound of the Defender is a big one that I think is probably going to see a lot of play coming up into the new year. But yeah, it's the real, I would say it's the underdog at the moment, the Delhi Sultanate. Hybrid maps, it's just going to stomp those out completely, very easily able to fish boom and stop the fish booms of its opponent. The only real threat it's got is the Mongols, but even then, they're able to be always having a safe source of fish. And so they're quite a solid civilization with the exception of that. The only issue is, obviously, they got a lot of bugs. They have a pretty terrible late game at the moment, I would say. It just takes, not terrible, but it takes so long to get your damn upgrades. I was playing against Snooper. You guys would have seen the game on the channel. I was playing Chinese. He was playing as Delhi. He didn't get his spearman upgrades for the whole game. And I started making fire lancers. It took him it would have taken him the equivalent of like 26 minutes to get all those upgrades or something ridiculous like that. So, you know, they've still got their miscomings, their misgivings. I'm not sure exactly what the term is. But yeah, look, they're not the best at the moment, I would say, for some maps, but then on other maps, very good. English, a little bit similar. I would put them at the top. They're a solid all-round civ, that's the thing, and they're very defensive. They've got a lot of strong build orders, and they've got some really good counters. So very effective against the Russ, as an example. You know, we have obviously seen the meta shift, but yes, they are very effective against the Russ. And just a really good civ. They've got a couple of good maps, so Altai is a really good map for them. Any map that they can get some a height advantage is going to be a great map for the English. But overall, it's just a basic civ. It's a solid civ, and they're good pretty all round. They're also good on hybrid maps as well, just simply because on, say, Danube River, you can actually counter enemies trying to push you. So one of the things Delhi will do, or the Mongols will do, is they will push you into where your dock is, and you can just pull villages. It's really easy. You pull 5 villages, walk up to your dock, and you just start shooting. And you know, I'm just picturing that Danny DeVito meme. So anyway, I started blasting. Like, it's that same thing. Like, I was chopping wood, and anyway, I just started blasting with my bow and arrow because I went and just got some fish to defend the rush that was coming in. And it's a great civilization for hybrid maps as well, just because of that. But moving on. Up to the next tier, we've got the A tier. Not a lot of changes here, so we're going to see France, and we're going to see China as well going up there. So France, one of those all-round civs, still quite strong. People have just learned how to counter French, which means that they're not S or S plus tier, as we did see them previously. But yes, France are pretty damn strong at the moment. Very versatile. Love to play into that Age 2, that late Age 2 is really where they get very strong. A great civ to pick up if you're a new player. So if you're watching this and you are quite new to Age of Empires 4, definitely recommend picking up the French. But just a versatile civilization, able to reuse those knights over and over. Again, get under the town center, always be taking out villages, get up to that next age, and that's where the composition starts. Typically, we are seeing, I'm not sure if you guys heard that, there was some fireworks going off. You know, my neighbors, they got the, in Australia, fireworks are regulated, so these, I guess, technically illegal fireworks, but hey, bootleg fireworks. All I'm saying, get the water. That's what's important. Get the water. I hope you guys know where that reference is from. If you don't, go YouTube it. Get the water. It is a hilarious video. Very, very funny. I think, God, that must date back to like 2007 or something. 2008. Hilarious video. But anyway, that's the French. Chinese, you guys have seen them taking over the ladder recently. In the most recent tournament, they were picked quite a lot, especially on defensive maps. Very strong civilization. But even on open maps, they're now being picked. We saw them picked on Altai against the English, and it actually like openly picked into the English on Altai and winning. So Vortex did that, I think, twice. He played against the English on Altai and won. So we're starting to see this defensive China playstyle come up, and I do genuinely suspect if China doesn't get nerfs, we're probably even going to see China move up into the S tier coming up, just simply because of the defensive Chinese playstyle is incredibly difficult to deal with. You just wall up, drop down castles, and go to fire lancers, and I don't know what can beat you. I really don't know what can beat that. I mean, I'm sure there are things like Russ, Men-at-Arms, Ram, Timing Push probably beats it, but you guys can understand, right? Like, the pros are going to learn. They're going to work that out. But anyway, let's move on to the next tier. Next tier going to be the Rus civilization going into the S tier. You guys would have seen a hell of a lot of Rus. One of the most versatile civilizations that there are. And when I say versatile, I mean they just fast castle, and they fast castle, and they fast castle, but they also can play H2. Very strong on water, very, very good, competent on land maps, aggressive, have got the majority of agency throughout the game, and as a result, it means that you need to react to them. If you don't go a second scout on a hybrid map, guess what? Now you've lost all of the you know, all of the hunts to the Russ player, and they're going to beat you, and they're going to get to a bounty of 450 by 3 minutes, and now you're going to be in a pickle when it comes to that. Also very good on Archipelago, very good on Warring Islands, so really good for laddering. Boulder Bay, incredibly good. I mean, pretty much any hybrid map, the Russ are just so damn good. In the event that it gets to late game, they've got the demo ships that have got like 900 health, which is just wild. So good luck stopping those. But obviously, their fast castle into horse archers has become infamous. Now we're seeing fast castle into men-at-arms with ramps, also really strong. But yeah, this is just a civilization that's very, very difficult to stop. And there's only really one civilization that can stop them. And you might be looking at the Mongols and thinking, oh, well, obviously that's going to go in S tier. Actually, you're wrong. We're going to create a new tier. We're going to add a row above, and we're going to call it, it's called new at the moment. We're going to call it S plus tier. I guess we'll make it pink, because I can't see any other color. And we're going to put the Mongols in there. This civilization throughout the tournament was routinely banned. If you went into, and this is judging from the Steel Series Cup, every single player had an option to ban a civilization, and 99% of players banned the Mongols. They didn't ban Russ, not the French, not the Chinese, the Mongols. And that is just simply because the Mongols are a civilization that is so oppressive. It's so difficult to deal with them. Tower rush into fast castle is just so freaking hard to deal with because you're so far behind. The towers prevent you from gathering resources. You've got no response to it, and if you do respond to it, then they're just going to fast castle behind it, and there's nothing that you can do about it. It's absolutely wild, and it is a huge reason why they sit in S plus tier. On hybrid maps, if you are not playing Delhi, it's almost impossible to hold a Mongol push, with the exception of maybe the English is really the only civilization that can do it, and even then you've got to play very carefully age 1. Play an extended age 1, that's really the only way you can do it, and you've got to have an outpost, a barracks, and you've got to pull villages to defend it. So very, very difficult to stop, and just really the king of aggression in the early game. So much strength in that mid game still. Obviously, we did see the nerfs to Springlords, but Mongols haven't fallen off anything at all, really. And in fact, I would almost argue that it's helped them out quite a lot because it's just given them so much power as a result, and mangonels are so strong now. If someone wants to go Springlords, they actually have to think about it and invest in it, and it is a bigger investment. It's going to cost them more resources to get into it because of the Springlord nerf. So the mangonel buff, or not the mangonel buff, but the Springlord nerf really helped the Mongols there because it's very easy for them to go archers, men-at-arms, and mangonels, an incredibly decent composition. But anyway, fellas, that's going to be the tier list. Look, you guys can probably stick around. I'll talk a little bit about it. Obviously, we've got the New Year's coming up right now. Now, if I was feeling healthy, I was going to actually do, unironically, a super spreader party on Twitch. It was where, you know, you've got COVID, I've got COVID, we've all got COVID, or at least, like, you know someone who's got COVID, and now you're a close contact, so you got to isolate. So it was going to be one of those things, like, you know, a little bit of a joke, but I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know how long I was going to do it for. I wanted to do 24 hours, but I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just not feeling it. I actually tried casting a game yesterday, and I got like 10 minutes through the game, and I knocked over my juice. My throat was like aching like hell and itching. I was trying to cough. I mean, throughout this though, I've been pretty good. I don't think I've coughed once. I don't think I've like cleared my throat once at all. My nose hasn't run. Like, I'm pretty good when it comes to symptoms. Like, keep in mind, guys, I'm double vaxxed as well, so I should be okay. Haven't got my third yet because it wasn't time, but I'll be making sure to get it as soon as this is all over. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking good. I'm feeling good. The missus, she got it as well, but she's okay. She's okay. So yeah, I mean, we're all on the mend. Unfortunately, like, my whole I mean, at this point I'm rambling, but you know what? If you're here at this part of the video, like, fucking good on you guys. Good on you guys for being here. Yeah, like my whole family got COVID. Like, we all caught it off one person in particular that came to our Christmas party, and the entire family, like my nan and pop got it, so they're my grandparents. My dad and his siblings got it. All of my cousins got it. Me and all my siblings have got it. Like, literally everybody. It took us all out. And so, like, my family, they live in a different city from me, but there's no one to bring them food. Like, don't worry, they got food. Like, I told them about Uber Eats. I'm like, hey guys, there's this application you can get. They'll bring you food. But there's like no one to bring us food. Like, at least if like COVID didn't hit everybody at the same time, they could sort of like get food brought to them by each other. Like, maybe if my dad didn't get it, then he could take food to his parents or to his cousin or to his siblings and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, it's been absolutely crazy. My symptoms on, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty sure this is Omicron. In Australia, Omicron is going like crazy at the moment. So up from our peak, we're up about 450% at the moment. So there was like 25,000 cases. More than 30,000 cases in Australia today. And yeah, before this, I think there was like a peak of like 3,000. So it's getting pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, my symptoms were pretty bad on like day 1, day 2, day 3. But yeah, now I'm real good now. I'm feeling really good. I went and did like a gardening for an hour. I was down in the garage for an hour. It's like, I've been like cleaning the house all day. You can hear how much energy I've got in my voice. Like, I feel like I'm back to normal. I'm pretty close to back to normal. The only thing is that I've noticed, like, I'm a big guy, and my house, I've got, it's a 3-story house. And when I go like all the way up from the bottom to the top of the stairs, I lose my breath. And it's not like terrible, but like I can feel it. And, you know, with COVID, it's just like, yeah, you can just feel it, and you just got to be like a little bit more mindful of that, I think. But yeah, I mean, I'm on the mend. Hopefully I'm going to be all good soon. Hopefully there'll be casted games coming up for you guys very shortly. I can't give you a guarantee about that, but I mean, you know what? This was kind of a little bit of a test run here, and I'll be honest with you, it's gone very well. So I'm looking forward to doing a little bit of casting, and I hope you guys have all had a wonderful New Year by the time you watch this, a wonderful Christmas, and I wish you all safe travels, and hope you guys feel wonderful heading into 2022. Let's make it an amazing year. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.